Hi. So today I want to go through Android Fundamentals 2.2 Activity Lifecycle and State. Let's take a look at the website for the course that we're going through. Specifically, I want to see this little diagram and let's talk through what this means. So in your application, each activity has a variety of states that it can be in depending on what's happening on the device. So for example, when the user launches the app, it goes through a few states that determine this is where we will prepare the view, this is where we will load content, this is where we will present the view. When we look at this diagram, you can see that we start with the onCreate, and notice here these are the actual methods that are getting called. And so initially you have an onCreate, and then you have an onStart, you have onResumed. If you have stopped the app, you have paused, stopped, and then destroyed. So these are various states that your activity can be in. And depending on the state, you have the ability to save information, modify things, prepare things. It's just to keep track of a good user experience. So when the user comes back to the app, it remembers where they are, or it has kept a timer going, whatever it is that you're doing, we want to understand what these are. So for that, let's go to Android Studio, and we're going to use the same application we looked at in the previous lessons, which is this two activities app that we put together. So we have here our application. You'll remember there's a main activity, and then we have a second activity, and we're passing data between the two. And so we've already done that in the previous lessons. In this lesson, we're going to implement some callbacks that occur as the app goes through various states. So just looking at the notes, what we're doing, let's go to the main activity, and we want to go to the onCreate method and add some log statements. So here in our onCreate, let's just, I'll just put this here at the end, and we're going to say log.d, and then we're going to say log_tag, and we're going to give ourselves some hyphens to kind of make a line, and let's close that out, and then let's do another log.d, log_tag, and we're going to say onCreate. Okay, so as we've seen in previous videos, when we run the application, the log statements output in the logcat view, which is connected to the device or emulator and is reading all of the messages that are going on behind the scenes while the app is running. So when the app runs and onCreate is called, we're going to see this message in logcat. We're going to add some additional methods. Right now we use onCreate is being called, but you noticed in the previous diagram there are other things like onStart, onPause, onResume, and we want to override those methods in order to add code to those methods that we can then use some more log statements to see what happens. So the next one we want to add, let's just add it under here, and we're going to say @override, and we're going to say public void, and it's the onStart method. And in that, whenever you override a method of a class that already exists, you want to call the super, which means we're calling the onStart for the class that we're overriding, and we want to make sure that happens, and after that we can do our own custom code. So again, we're going to say log_d, log_tag, and then for this one we're going to say onStart is our message. We want to do this for the rest of those other methods that we talked about, and there is a shortcut that allows us to do this. If we go, let me just place my cursor to the next line here. If you go to code and you say override methods, you're going to see a list of all the available methods to us that we can override. So for example, we have onStop, onDestroy. And so let's go ahead and let's just identify all the ones that we want. So for this example, we have onPause. So let's go to the onPause, click OK, and it automatically adds it for us. So in this instance, I'm going to just copy and paste this line. If I triple click the line and then copy it, Command C or Control C, whatever you're running. Whoops, let me do that again. Okay, now obviously we want to change this to on pause. And we could either go back to the code override methods, or honestly, you can just copy and paste and then just change the method. So that's what we're going to do. So I want to just copy all of this. And what did we say? We're going to do on start, on pause, on restart, on resume, on stop, and on destroy. So let's go ahead and copy that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, and we've already done 1, 2, 3. Well, we've done 2. So 1, 2. So let's paste it 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have one on pause. The next one is going to be on restart. And we say on restart. On resume. And then on stop. On stop. And on destroy. Okay, let's go ahead and save this and run it. You can connect to your own device, or we're just going to run a virtual device. Let's look at the logcat. We'll keep this open. Whoops, come on. Let's keep this open and let's watch. As soon as this boots up, then we'll be able to see our activity, all the messages. Okay, so if we go here we have the line that we've given ourselves, and we've seen onCreate, onStart, and onResume have been called. So when the app starts, those 3 methods get called. So let's go ahead and we'll stop this process. Now let's copy and paste these same methods into our second activity class. So let's just select all of these, and I'll copy and then paste. We can just put it here. We do want to import, so that'll automatically import for us. We're missing the log tag, so let's add that. So up here, we're just going to say private static final string, and we'll call it log tag equals second activity dot class dot get simple name. Okay. So now that'll run. Let's add the log statement from the onCreate method. So let's just copy that from here. And second activity, paste that here. So there's those. Now the next, what we want to do next is where we have the return reply down here. Here we have our return reply. Before the finish method, before that gets called, we want to enter another log statement. We're going to say log.d log tag, and we're going to say end second activity. Okay, let's save that and run it. So now we see the first three, which we've already seen. Now let's enter a message, and we'll say, hi there, second activity, and click send. Now notice we have on pause and on stop for main activity. Let's go back. So we're not seeing our messages. Notice here we've only got, this is filtered for main activity, that's why. Okay, so that's why that was doing that. So let's go back to, let's just filter against activity. Okay, so so you notice what was happening is this was filtering out, so it was only showing main activity, so we weren't seeing the second activity. So here, let's take a look at this one more time. So here we have the main activity, onCreate, onStart, onResume. Then we clicked the button because we already had a log statement for that. And then we hit onPause for the main activity. And then the second activity, here's the second activity line. We get onCreate, onStart, and onResume. And then notice that the main activity had onStop. So the app is still running. I haven't stopped it yet. So let's go back and let's enter our reply, hello, and type reply. Now we're back to the main activity, and let's see where that ended up. So here, notice we got the end second activity, so there's that call. Then second activity went to on pause, and then meanwhile, main activity said, hey, on restart, on start, on resume, and there we are. And then second activity said on stop and then on destroy. Ooh, look at that. While the app is still running, let's go ahead and click to the home screen, and then let's go back to the app, and then let's go back, well, let's go back to the home screen again and go to our view, and let's kill, well, sorry, come on, hold on. Swipe up to kill the app. So now, let's go back. Okay, so where we left off, we had already seen on destroy for that. So then main activity went on pause and then on stop when we went to the background. Then when we came back, we said on restart, on start, and on resume. And then on pause, on stop, because I didn't know what I was doing. And then back again, and then on stop, on pause, on stop, and then finally, notice here, after I killed it, it says on destroy. Very good. There's one other step that we want to see, an application, a state change that we want to see. So go ahead and run this one more time. And what we'll do, so here we have onCreate, onStart, onResume. Let's enter some text. Hi there again. There again. And click send. And then let's rotate the device. I'll rotate it a couple times just for good measure. And then let's go and enter some text. What's up? Click reply. So this is not demonstrating it very well. If you look at the text, if you look at this fundamentals activity text, it says typically what happens, and the reason this isn't happening is because we're in the code is smart enough to save state, but in general, when you rotate the device, it can destroy the activity and redraw it. So there's a potential for losing whatever data that you have. I want to read from this so that we understand. It says, the state of each activity is stored as a set of key value pairs in a bundle object called the activity instance state. The system saves default state information to instance state bundle just before the activity is stopped and passes that bundle to the new activity instance to restore. To keep from losing data in an activity when it is unexpectedly destroyed and recreated, you need to implement the onSaveInstanceState method. The system calls this method on your activity between onPause and onStop, where there is a possibility the activity may be destroyed and recreated. Okay, so we want to implement the method called onSaveInstanceState. And this will then allow us to save the state, meaning any data that we're showing, presenting to the user, and anything else that we've generated while the app has been running. And we can save whatever data that we've created that isn't part of the startup when the activity comes into focus. So let's go back. Let's go ahead and stop this. And what we're going to do, go back to the main activity, and we're going to implement another override, and we're going to call this is going to be at override, and we're going to say public void, and it's the onSaveInstanceState, and it takes a bundle, and it's called outState. Okay, and then we call the super onSaveInstanceState, and we say outState. So we're calling the super anytime we override a method. We want to call the super so that we call all of the appropriate inherited functions that are part of that method. Then we want to check to see if the header on our view is visible. So you recall that we are using, we're setting visibility on the header that shows whether the text, the reply from the previous activity. So here, we're going to write the following. If mReply header text view, that's the one, the first one, dot get visibility, if that is equals to view dot visible, then we're going to say outState dot put boolean, and we're going to add a string, and we're going to call this reply underscore visible, and then we're going to set that to true. Next, we're going to save whatever the reply text is. So we're going to say outState dot put string. Whoops, we don't want that. Put string, and we want this one. And the string is the key. We're going to say is reply underscore text, and then it's the mReply text view dot get text dot to string. So what we're doing is we're saving the state of the current view for main activity. If the header text view is visible, we want to save that because it's only visible when we have a message to display. And then we want to save the message so that if this gets destroyed and then recreated, we will not lose what data has been passed in. Now we need to talk about when we restore the activity state. If we go to the top, there are a couple of ways to do this. We can either restore the state in the onCreate method, or there is what is called the onRestoreInstanceState. Now, generally you're going to restore the state in the onCreate, because at this point we know that the view is ready and available to us, that we can start updating content. So we're going to do that here. There are other reasons to use the onRestoreInstanceState, and that can be, the book says, the course here says, it's sometimes convenient to do it in the onRestoreInstanceState after all the initialization has been done, or to allow subclasses to decide whether to use your default implementation. So in general, just doing this in the onCreate is where we will restore the state. So let's go to the bottom of that method and let's type the following. We're going to say if saved instance state, which is the default bundle that's available to every class, if it is not equal to null, then, whoops, come on, where's my fingers? There they are. Then we're going to restore. So we're going to say Boolean is visible, and we're going to check is visible. We're going to check if saved instance state dot get Boolean, and we're going to see whatever this Boolean is, which is reply underscore visible. So that's the key we initially created, right? Next, we're going to, within this method, we're going to say, so if it is visible, then we need to make the header visible and update the text. So here we'll say mReply header text view dot set visibility, and we're going to set it to is visible. Well, sorry, view dot visible. That's the state that we want it to be in. Then we set the text, which is mReply text view dot set text, and we set this to the saved instance state dot get string, and the key, remember, is reply underscore text. Also, we want to make sure that the mReply text view is also visible. So we say set visibility, and we say view dot visible. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. And we'll choose OK. And let's see this in action. So let's go ahead and let's send a message. We say, hi, it's me. We'll send. And then I say, who? And I say reply. Now, if I rotate the device, let's take a look. So we have the second activity is on stop, on destroy. Whoops, I clicked away too far. And okay, let's go back out. Let's do that. Let's go back out. Now let's go back to the app. And on start, on restart, on restart. The challenge is it's hard to test this because unfortunately it's not behaving the way the text is referring to. So this is where we say, trust me, it works. What happens is the app is obviously remembering its, when we rotate it. Honestly, traditionally, every time the device rotated, you would have to rebuild the state, rebuild the activity. There are other reasons why you would rebuild the activity or save state. If they get a phone call and then the app is destroyed, or if it comes back, let's just test this. Let's go back and let's kill this. And then let's go back to the app, to activities. Yeah, because the activity was destroyed, we didn't get, because the entire application was destroyed, we didn't have the save state. If the activity is destroyed and then rebuilt, the save state will still exist for when I'm running the app. So going back to what this means, when we talked about there's a bundle, which is the instance, a saved instance of the application. An instance is when the app starts and then you've created activities, you've interacted with it, and then when the app is destroyed, where everything is killed, that's one instance. When I start the app here again, after I just killed it and then now I'm back, this is a new instance. So there's no save state for this specific instance. There are other ways to save data outside of when the app is destroyed, and that's a different process, and we will cover that in future videos. But understand that when we're talking about saved instance and saving state, we're talking about an object that's a bundle that gets saved that is used and available to each activity. So if an activity is destroyed and then is rebuilt and there is a saved instance object, then that's where that comes into play. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's the end of this specific lesson. You can go in the course. It has some additional challenges and other things and recommendations. So hopefully that helps. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I promise I will continue to do more videos. Thanks.